All right, welcome back in, you guys, to One Piece Chapter 1169's brief spoilers. My name is Sai, and today we're here to have a yapathon about this upcoming chapter. If you have not checked out the spoilers for yourself, though, yet, make sure to do just that by going down to the pinned comment and checking it all out there. I'll be typing it out piece by piece, as well as sourcing it out to where I found these spoilers in the first place. So, without further ado, getting right into it, we got a color spread, and this time, none of the Straw Hats are actually in it. Instead, we get a color spread of the Rocks Pirates. That is right. We get to see all of them again in black suits. Sounds pretty cool. Reminds me of Strong World, where all the Straw Hats are dressed up in black suits when they go off to fight Shiki. And I'm just now wondering which Rocks Pirates are in this color spread. Are we going to get every single one of them? Like Kyowo, Wangji, Gilbestar, Barbell? Or is this just going to be the main people? Because, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom take the stage here, but let's be real. We do like these side characters as well, so hopefully they do make a showing here. So now, into the chapter, the first thing we see is that Garp and Gaban had an interaction where Garp tells Scopper that Roger indeed has a son. Scopper then tells Shanks this information, and Shanks says, well, if Roger has a son, then that son is like my younger brother, because he views Roger as his dad. And this is awesome. Really wholesome stuff. But now I'm just curious, but did they know that that son was Portgasty Ace? Because it doesn't say it verbatim here in the brief spoilers, and of course we have to take the brief spoilers with a grain of salt. And the reason I ask that is because I wonder if this is the reason why Shanks went to Marineford in the first place, and of course, Scopper, was he also going to Marineford, or did he simply trust Shanks and Whitebeard to do the deed? And it kind of sucks for Shanks because he did show up late. You know, on one end, Luffy lost his brother, but on another end, you could say Shanks also lost his brother that day too. Even though Shanks and Ace didn't have, like, the best of relationships. Like, they didn't really see each other or interact with each other much beforehand. We only saw one meeting, and that's when Ace said, hey, thanks for taking care of Luffy. Did Shanks at that time know that Ace was Roger's son? I am curious, right? Because I could totally see a world where Garp tells them, hey, he has a son, but he doesn't tell them their name. We'll see though, right? These are the brief spoilers. Things can change. We gotta wait for tomorrow to find out all of these nitty-gritty details. Next thing we see is that Harald tells the giant soldiers to kill him. And this is when Jarl and Loki arrived at the castle. Harald explains to Loki and the giant soldiers that he worked with the world government up until this point, and now, today, they decided to betray him. Then he tells Loki to kill him and to tell all of Elbaf what has transpired here. Oddly enough, we know that this doesn't happen, right? Loki is deemed as Harald's killer, and he's hunted down like a dog shortly afterwards. So it's like, okay, Loki doesn't tell Elbaf what happened here. Is it because Elbaf doesn't believe Loki, or does something else go awry? So we go on a bit more, and we see that Harald actually tells Loki to eat the legendary devil fruit of Elbaf, or else there will be no way to actually stop and or kill him. Because Harald is only thinking about death right now. Very sad stuff. Of course, very reminiscent of Roxy Zebek, how when Roger and Garp showed up, he's like, hey guys, please kill me, you know, put me down, you gotta do it. Whatever this legendary devil fruit is, it's gotta be absolutely broken, brother. So we go back to Shanks for a second, and he tells Gaban why he's in Elbaf in the first place. And that is because he wants to tell Harald not to accept the Knight of God position. And according to Worst Gen, we actually learn a little bit more about how Imu's possession over the Knights of God actually functions. If you have only the Shallow Sea contract, the first tier on their system, then you can only be controlled within a certain radius around Imu. I'm assuming just the Holy Land. If you're up in the Holy Land, Imu can possess you. But if you have the Deep Sea contract, the Knight of God contract and above, then Imu can control you from anywhere in the world. So yes, that is why Harald is losing control here. And also, not to throw too much shade at Shanks, but it's kind of funny hearing him say, oh yeah, I came to warn Harald not to get the Knight of God upgrade. Yet, we see Shanks is chilling in a bathtub with Scopper Gaban. It's like, wait, Shanks, why don't you go up right now and tell him that? Or why didn't you tell him this a year ago, right? Why wait until the day after Harald gets this promotion? So, we see that Harald completely loses his mind and he turns into a cruel monster, which is how Pewpiece actually describes him. So it doesn't sound like he gets like the Domi Reversi wings or the fangs or the horns. He simply just becomes a madman. He attacks everybody, including Jarl, and this is where Jarl gets stabbed in the head. And here's the kicker, but Harald wants to eat the legendary devil fruit now. He starts chasing Loki, saying the fruit is mine. So he does like a complete 180, which would be crazy. Imagine that. Harald loses his mind, and now he wants to go eat the fruit. Maybe he's successful, you know, because here's the thing, right? If Harald eats the fruit and then he dies, the fruit would get respawned somewhere else, which would be an interesting plot twist. And that would essentially open that devil fruit up to having anybody eat it, which I think would be kind of fun to play with, right? Like, oh, who has it now? Like, the devil fruit despawns, respawns. Where is it? Where is it? So we see that at this point in time, while Loki is going down to the treasury, Shanks and Gaban show up. And they try to stop King Harald, but it's pointless since Harald has absolutely lost his mind. So this is where I'm a little bit confused, or at least I look back at this, I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean Shanks and Gaban arrive? Because here's the thing, right? Shanks goes after Loki 8 years later, captures him and brings him back to Elbaf. Doesn't Shanks know what happened here? I mean, Shanks was just talking about the whole thing where it's like, okay, like, you're controlled, don't take the Knight of God position. Oh no, Harald has it, he's being controlled. They know Loki is innocent then, right? But then we have Scopper's commentary when we hopped into the flashback, and Scopper says, oh, me and Shanks? Yeah, we might have not had the full picture that day. Scopper, you kind of know what's happening. Harald lost his mind. You participated in the fight, brother. And it's funny, because just the other day, I kind of saw this happening, right? I saw the hints. They were kind of leaning towards Shanks and Gaban arriving, and I just threw up a poll. I didn't want to spoil anybody, but I just asked a simple question. What do Shanks and Gaban do at the Elbaf Castle? There were 3 main options here. I'm sure there's like more if you really like boil it down. The first option was that they fight against King Harald. The second option was that they simply just witness the final blow, Loki killing King Harald. And then for the third option, it's simply that they show up well after everybody's gone. A majority of people, myself included, believed that they would just show up for the final blow, and that's why they don't have the full picture. But not the case, brother. Like, the 20% of people who voted for the first option were right. They actually participated in the fight against Harald. They know that he lost his mind, which makes the whole thing earlier even more mind-boggling. Where Harald told Loki, hey, tell Elbaf what happened here. Tell them that I got betrayed. Tell them that I'm losing my mind. How does that not happen? Shanks is here. He's seeing what's going down. Gaban is here. He knows what's going down. And Loki as well. I do wonder. Something still must go wrong. That is what I boil it down to. Something's gonna happen soon that throws a wrench in this entire thing. I do not think that we have everything on the table yet. So now we go down to the final and last bullet point. Final, last, kind of redundant there. But Loki goes down to the treasure room to eat that legendary devil fruit. But that is when something attacks him. Ragnir comes out of the corner and tries to hammer him down. Brother, Ragnir the mythical hammer, huh? So I guess this confirms that Ragnir is not the legendary Elbaf devil fruit. I saw a lot of people jumping on board that theory the last couple of days. I even thought it looked pretty damn juicy. But no, Ragnir and the fruit are 2 different things. And it looks like Ragnir is the treasure room guard? Yeah, kind of interesting, right? It makes you wonder how the hammer is moving. Does it have a will of its own? Does it have a devil fruit? I'm kind of leaning towards devil fruit because that's just what we know of already, right? We've seen weapons before have devil fruits and they're able to just do their own thing. So that is kind of what I boil it down to. But yes, Ragnir is alive and it's guarding the devil fruit of Elbath. So what happens here? You know, Loki, we know, claims Ragnir after this. So Loki must tame it to an extent. Maybe he fights it. Maybe he tells Ragnir what's going down. That'd be kind of fun, right? Like, hey, Ragnir, wait! Harald told me to come down here, please! Oh, man. I have heard a theory saying that maybe Ragnir is the legendary devil fruit still, and Ragnir simply ate it of its own volition, which would be kind of odd. Like, you just put a hammer in a room and then all of a sudden it eats the fruit. I don't think that's what happened. But then again, you know, granted, we still do not know how weapons eat devil fruits in the first place. So I guess it's still on the table. But yeah, a lot of crazy stuff going down this week, brother. Even though Loki is in the treasure room, I'm still not 100% sure if he eats the fruit. Just because we saw that King Harald wants to eat it as well. And the whole thing with Loki, it seems odd right now. Like I said, something still, in my opinion, is going to go horribly wrong come next chapter. But that is it for the brief spoilers, guys. We will be back tomorrow to go through the updated details where, you know, Pew Piece and Redon, they drop a lot more things about it. But yes, let me know what you think about all of these bullet points down below. I'll catch you guys later. You guys stay safe and have a great rest of your day, brothers.